Hello everyone, and welcome to another royal reading here at MadWorldTarot. And today I have the Housewives Tarot on the tarot table, the Desperate Housewives Tarot as I like to call it, although that's not what it's actually called. We're still looking at the end of the Netflix deal, and more insiders from Netflix are coming forward and spilling the beans, and one has come forward, I think it's to the Daily Mail, and said that poor sales of Meghan's rosé was the nail in the coffin for the Netflix deal. That was it. They were hanging on to see how that As Ever rosé did. It did very badly, and that was the end of that. She's quite defiant. I've been watching her Instagram account, and she's just posted a story up on the As Ever Instagram account. It says, "Cheers, dear." There is a bottle of that, as I call it, a Chateau Lafite. And so she's being defiant. She is carrying on regardless. We're going to have a look at how she might actually be doing in the next reading, but I'm going to do a quick reading now with the Housewives Tarot to see about this wine sale business, what Netflix really was expecting, how they felt when that small batch was sold out in 45 minutes or whatever it was. It vastly expensive. You had to buy in bulk. You couldn't just buy one bottle. You had to buy 3 or 6 or 9 or whatever. The insider says, just by the way, the small batch wasn't selling. There was no great demand for it. No one in Hollywood rates them, Harry and Meghan, or wants to be around them. People are bored with them. The burn. So we're going to have a look at that as well. Expectations about the wine, because it's a pretty easy thing to do. Lots of celebrities do it and do quite well out of it. So they probably expected that, you know, if she couldn't get the cooking show right, then she could at least sell wine. And how they felt when the wine sales were so poor, such a small batch, and, you know, universally mocked. You could see people tasting the wine and kind of grimacing as it went down the hatch. Obviously not very palatable. And then I want to ask about that. Nobody rates them or wants to be around them. People are bored with them. Comment. I just want to know what's the feeling about Harry and Meghan in those showbiz circles. Last shuffle. And then we're going to ask where next for As Ever. And then in the next reading, we're going to ask how Meghan is doing. Is a knock collapse on the cards with all of this negative comment and even some of the squad turning against her at this point. Difficult times for her. Let's remind you, tarot, fun and entertainment. It is, of course, all my opinion, all speculation. Just read energy. Disclaimer in the box below. King of Cups is, I think it's our friend Ted. Still in her corner, still supporting. He hasn't come out directly and said she's rubbish, she's useless. These are insiders, and we have heard that there's conflict in the Netflix board. Some support, or Ted supports Meghan. The other guy, I can never remember his name, can't stand her. I've seen that energy when I've read on her. He seems to have got rid of the Parkles, but that King of Cups tells me that there might still be influence, and Neil Sean has a story which we'll have to look at, that they still want the has-been. That if Meghan can coerce the has-been into signing a new deal for, you know, spilling stories about the royals, then there's still some hope. That tells me not all is not lost with that King of Cups, that there's still someone there who's supporting her. I'm reading particularly on her and her wine sales, that hasn't given up on her yet. And it's amazing that she can manage to get these people to be so loyal to her despite all the evidence that is before them. quite amazing, that energy, that King of Cups. So, situation with this wine that the Lovers. Okay, we're not going to read that card literally. Well, I'm not going to read that card literally. You're welcome to take it literally if you want to. The Lovers doesn't necessarily mean literally that. It is about partnerships, and she did proudly tell us a few months ago that Netflix, they wanted to partner with her, and hence the As Ever launch, the wine and all the rest of it. That's because Netflix sort of could see the potential in her and insisted almost and persuaded her almost to do this. That's the way it was spun. And can a girl say no to Netflix? Very interesting cards on this tarot table. Not the energy that I was expecting when I decided to do this reading. So, righty-ho. Let's get on to expectations. Expectations for the rosé when she first came up with the idea, although I'm guessing she didn't really come up with the idea, someone else probably did. Four of Wands in reverse. This is not, no, I don't think that they thought it would be brilliant. It's interesting because the Four of Wands is celebration. It's about the home. It's about events like weddings and celebrating some kind of win or something good that's happened, and it's in reverse. So it tells me that the realistic ones at Netflix had no expectation of this doing well. They didn't think that she would be able to sell it. There's been a lot of opinion polls around and about the last few days, people's opinions of Harry and Meghan, and do they want them back in the UK and stuff like that, and they're all universally terrible. If you're on the Harry and Meghan camp, it must be quite devastating to see how poorly they are polling. People at Netflix knew she wasn't going to shift this wine. It wasn't going to be a success. There would be nothing to celebrate. So how did they feel when the tiny bit was sold? And I guess she had to show some figures to them. Even though she's been very careful not to show sales figures to any of us, I'm sure that somewhere along the line, Netflix had to actually have sight of her sales figures as part of some sort of agreement that they must have with this As Ever brand. How did they feel? And the Empress in reverse, confirming the Four of Wands in reverse. That's the Empress is, in this context, it's the Julia Childs of this world, the Martha Stewarts, Ina Garten, all the rest of them, and not Meghan in reverse. Not a desirable female figure. She's not high value. She's not high status. She's not convincing as a figure that is going to shift product. She's not convincing at all. People don't relate to her. They don't like her. They don't resonate with her. Just a huge disaster. And the Empress is about abundance as well. It's a Venus energy. So Venus rules money, it rules love, it rules money, it rules beauty. It's quite an interesting range of things that Venus rules. Meghan doesn't have what it takes. And it's very obvious. It's gone from Four of Wands, which is minor arcana, to Empress in reverse and major arcana. She can't shift product. Despite what our man Ted, I think, in my opinion, that's him over there, King of Cups. Despite what Ted said, she can sell. She's got the Midas touch, basically. He didn't say that, but he is the one who seems to believe it. He still seems to believe it, interestingly. So there might be a little bit of a postscript with this Netflix deal that catches people by surprise. That will probably involve has been. My opinion, let's see what happens. Tell us just generally about this. No one in Hollywood rates them or wants to be around them. People are bored with them. Very harsh comment that came from this Netflix insider. I want to know about it, how people view them in Hollywood. 8 of Swords, and it's in reverse. The 8 of Swords is freeing yourself from something difficult. It's like people have wriggled out of the grip of the claw with that 8 of Swords. It's a card of being stuck, being trapped, lacking vision, unable to shift your mindset to get out of this trouble that you got yourself into from a place of fear and doubt and suspicion and all of that. It's in reverse. It tells me that people don't want to have anything to do with her, that they have managed to wriggle out of any association that they might have got stuck in. This is how I'm reading this energy, and it's quite interesting. I think it's quite tasty and juicy. It is certainly for me as a tarot reader, as an energy reader. It's interesting energy. So, for instance, the Gwyneth Paltrow moment in Gwyneth's kitchen, where Megan, surprise, there she was chomping on a giant piece of pie. That was an Eight of Swords moment for Gwyneth Paltrow. It's in reverse. Never again. I'm not getting caught out like that ever again. And I think everyone else is backing off. We're not going to be caught. Netflix people aren't going to persuade us to appear on With Love Megan. She's not going to persuade us to put her horrible strawberry jam on our Instagram accounts and things like that. Those moments that she had people in her clutches, they're over. And I do find that quite tasty energy as an energy reader. Where is As Ever heading as a brand? Ace of Swords is done. She can stick whatever stories she likes on her As Ever Instagram account. She's been very quiet on her own personal Instagram account, the Megan one. Ace of Swords, and it's in reverse, the end. Brutally executed, the end. They said nail in the coffin of the Netflix deal. Yeah, nail in the coffin of As Ever as a brand as well. This is grim stuff for her, however defiant she is over on her As Ever Instagram account. And we're going to look next at how she's doing. And I hope to meet you again over there.